Arnold Palmer is probably the most recognized person in the world. There is no question in my mind about it. He was the pathfinder when we started going over to Europe and playing golf. He did it in the late 50s and early 60s. I can sum him up probably better than anyone. I could have a million stories for you, but I'm going to sum it up this way. When people ask me to describe Arnold Palmer, I tell them, I says, take your dictionary, look up the word class, and Arnold Palmer's picture would be next to the word for definition.
Arnold's been not only a great friend, been a great competitor. He spent, he came along at a time when golf needed a little kick of the rear end, and they needed a swashbuckler that would sort of lead the charge, and he did a great job, and the game owes him a lot.
Arnold is like the pioneer of pioneers of golf, especially at the professional level and on television. He was the first one really to capture the audience of TV, and therefore he turned golf into a real successful, and he gave golf the opportunity to be successful. Without Arnold, there would not be the kind of PGA Tour we know of today. There would not be the kind of coverage there is today, the popularity, and the game of golf itself wouldn't have grown like it has.
He came along at a time when TV was, just starting to cover golf, and golf was made for TV and Arnold Palmer.
Arnold has, he's been golf. Not to say there hasn't been other supporting members of the cast, Nicklaus and Gary Player and others, but Arnie, he didn't get the name the King by accident. We all love him, and he really kind of set the tone, ushered in modern day golf through television and the charisma he's had with people, and we all love him.
Oh, it's hard to describe. Arnold, nicknamed the King, he's just a wonderful person. Set a great example for all of us to follow. He treats everyone the same. Doesn't matter if you're royalty or if you're, the poorest of the poor or wherever you're from. He looks you in the eye, he shakes your hand, he signs your autograph. He's just a real gentleman, and no surprise that the people love him. He was a very exciting player for many years and a phenomenal ambassador for the game of golf.
Women wanted to be with him, guys wanted to be like him. I mean, I grew up playing Arnold Palmer golf clubs, went to Wake Forest on an Arnold Palmer golf scholarship, so, meant a lot to me and my dad, and just a guy's guy.
He and Jack Nicklaus were the first, stars of the game. Arnold's the one that made it popular, I think, with the masses. He had an army, and that says it all. He had so many fans, made the sport popular. He was the swashbuckling, flashy player, before Greg Norman or Fred Couples. He made it interesting to watch golf, and I think he set the stage for all of us.
Infectious character for the fans. I mean, that started to put when you see the old footage of them open, it was one white tent, and that was it, and a scorecard. You went and played for the Open Championship and a claret jug. That was it back then. But now, what it's grown into, these mega shows, mega events. So that was how it started, and obviously what he did with Mark McCormack as well, in the bring in sponsorship or endorsements for athletes.
As a young person, I really admired the man. I admired his golf game, only because it was very offensive minded, not so much defense. I mean, I don't think there was a shot that Arnold wouldn't try or try to pull off. It might not always come off, but I think that's one thing that people really loved about him.